Hello, welcome to this video of Tomb Raider 2 glitch tutorial. Today is going to be about Floating Island. So this is a redo of Floating Island tutorial from my EPC or German version, my long one, where every levels are like 1 hour or something. The reason is because we found a new way of skipping Floating Island that doesn't involve slope things that people have trouble with. So this can be seen as an alternative or a new way of doing it because this is still relatively hard. So this is not too hard. I think this is easier than the old skip, but because there is a lot of buffers and manual timing things, for some people it might be harder. So I will do this video and of course runners decide if they want to do it or not. And also this video will be used also for future UK box tutorials. This video will be for EPC and UK box tutorial that I'm gonna do. The reason is they are completely identical except one corner bug which is relatively the same, so I'm gonna explain it when I'm going there. So let's go. So the start of the level is pretty much the same, but I'm going to explain it. So if you have a flare, you can flare to use flare console for the next stumble. You can use it, and if you don't, you don't. So here I don't have, so I'm gonna have to late grab like this. So you just late grab and you keep going, and you climb here. So it's just standing jump and running jump, and from here I'm gonna show you. So let's just save here, doesn't really matter. So you do a standing jump and you want to avoid the trigger from the guy on the right. You can't skip the trigger from the guy on the left. And that's what I just did. So if you just do jump on the green stuff, the guy here will spawn on the right. And you don't want that. For two reasons, because one, it will be slower because you will have to wait him to get a certain pathing, and second because it can be troublesome with his pathing to do the skip itself because you will have to be certain spots on the bridge, and maybe if he has a wrong pathing, he can get mistakes. It can push you or whatever. So you really don't want that to happen. So you really want to skip that guy. So to skip that guy is pretty simple. You do standing jump, count 1, 2, 3 steps and jump. Do a curve jump around the block on the green block. So 1, 2, 3 jumps around that, and you keep going, and you will be able to skip the trigger. And then you have two ways of dealing with the situation. I'm gonna first show what you have to do if you trigger the guy and you haven't saved or you can't load or whatever. So if you miss it some way, you just keep going. You just walk to the edge. You wait for the two guys to come to you. And when they are starting coming to you, you just jump here and wait the guys to drop down here. And then you climb. So this is what I was referring to. If you will have to wait for those guys to come to you like this if you trigger the extra guys. So that makes you lose 10 seconds or something, while depending on the pathing, sometimes you can have a weird pathing even that's make you lose 20 seconds. So that's what I'm mentioning. But if you fail it, this is your backup. And if you don't fail it like this, you have two ways of dealing with the situations. So you can even do the safe way, which is you just go to the edge, step back, wait for him to start turning and facing you like this, and then you do a running jump and you grab obviously, and you climb and you're good. So this is the way it works. So you just walk here, step back. If he's just coming toward you like this, you just wait a couple of seconds and you just wait 2 or 3 seconds max, and you go for it. There is no... This is a bit weird. This is a different RNG, but this is relatively the same as he's going to you every time. He's almost never gonna go away on the left or on the right and not taking care of you. So just do that. So again, one last time, just wait, he's coming to you. He does here. Grab here and climb, and he will be here. And then you still want to hurry to do the next glitch because he's gonna come back, but that's another story. And there is another way, which is the YOLO way, where you just do that. You climb, and okay, that's weird. That's one of those bad RNG that shouldn't happen. Maybe because I saved actually. But you can just do it quickly. Yeah, it's because I saved. Because I saved, you got a weird pathing. But I'm gonna show you what's happened if you YOLO without saving. Well, without saving that close to him, I mean. So if you don't save and you YOLO it, you will get 99.9% of the time the good RNG. I'm gonna show you this one. So we'll just go forward. You can just do a grab cancel and climb immediately, and you will go down every time, 99% of the time. There is only one RNG, and you can't do anything about it. He won't fall down like he just did. He will just keep flying and coming back to you. If that happens, I can't show you because it doesn't happen often, but if that happens and you already are climbing, it will be on your left. So you will just backstep, do that, and climb again, and you will drop down. This is weird, but this is almost never happening, but just in case I'm mentioning. So to YOLO this jump, you have to weigh. You can just count the steps and see roughly where you're from, or far away you're from the edge. But this is pretty dangerous because you can't see where you jump. What you can do is you can use the camera strut. So you just put the camera on the side and you press jump at the right time when you see Lara is on the edge. So you're just going forward and press the camera button and switch to the left and then jump at the right time. And you will make it. Or not, obviously. But this makes the jump much easier. Also, if you jump early, well, this is considered early. But like if you don't jump at the very edge of a block, like this, for example, like this, you'll have to get a really late grab. If you don't get a really late grab here, you will fall down. If you grab early or something, I will show you. If you grab here, for example, you won't make it. If you fail by not getting an M-man jump here, oops, if you don't get some kind of M-man jump here like this, you will have to late grab like this, like a really late grab, almost stumbling against the platform you're going to, like this. So if you mess it up, you just need to late grab. And if you don't mess it up, you still want to late grab, but not that much, because you want to make sure you make the jump. So whatever you do, I'm gonna have to wait a bit here, I think. Let me just here. So you climb here. The guy is going to fall down. And there are two ways of dealing with things. So you need to perform a corner bug. I'm just gonna kill that guy for demonstration. Obviously you don't kill him in a run. So you have two ways of dealing with the situation. So you have to go to the right of the level, but because that corner can be super tricky with to do it quickly with UK box, you might be likely to use that corner. And that corner is way easier because the camera will help you. So, oh my god, there is a guy here, I forgot. So what you want to do is you want to basically line up here. If you're going for the left corner, you turn here and you just do standing jump. This is a corner bug and you have to do it fast. So I hope I said right. Yeah, okay. So you do a standing jump, you want to position here, roughly. For APC, it doesn't matter if you're too much left, as long as you are not too much right, like this, for example. If you're here, this is bad for either version you're going. But if you're too much left for APC, like this, for example, so this is the right spot. I'm going to show you. So this is not the best spot, but this would be the best spot, for example. If you look at Lara's position, her right feet is a bit after the corner, then this is the best spot. But if you are on EPC and you just, for example, like here, which is not the best position, it's okay. You can recover it really easily by getting the corner and doing jumps, and she will move forward slightly, little by little. What will happen is you will just need 3 jumps instead of 2. Or 1, depending what you're doing. But you will just need more jumps. So it will make the... That's why you have to set it up fast, because as you can see, the guy was really close to me. So you have to set it up fast, or the guy will push you and it will be in. So you just standing jump, line up like this. For EPC, you don't really care, and you take that angle and you standing jumps here. And then I'm gonna explain it after. And then you're good. For UK box, it's a bit trickier. I'm gonna explain to you why. Because of the way the mechanic is built in this exit. So, if you don't get the right spot exactly, like this one, for example. So if you are too much left, what will happen is if you won't be able, if you jump, like if you try to do the corner bug here with UK box, what's going to happen is you won't move forward. Lara will turn here. She will turn like this after the first jump. And then you will have to line up again and do another jump. And maybe it won't still even work. She will still turn. So you have to be really precise, because if you do it with UK box, you will have that trouble. So if you're not confident with that corner bug, I recommend you to save with UK box. Okay, so this is for the first corner. So just gonna explain to you quickly another thing quickly. So if you do the corner bug, one thing is really important. You want to jump across because you want to go to the right of a level, but you want to jump like this. You absolutely don't want to do something like this. It might look faster, but what's going to happen is you're going to trigger a song, and you're going to also trigger an extra guy that is going to come from the bridge, and you're going to see him coming soon. That guy is going to come here, and he's going to mess up your QWOP every time, probably. Unless you're very fast or you're lucky. But you don't want to trigger that guy. You absolutely don't want to. And the trigger is right after the door. So you just step back here and go here. You don't trigger the guy and you keep going. So that is a precision if you're going for the left corner bug. And you have the exact same corner bug on the right. You just do a running jump here. And you aim at the same place here, like this lineup. Do the same thing. And you do the corner bug here. Do a standing jump and keep going. So this is exactly the same as the left one, except the camera angle is worse. Because the camera angle is worse, that's why I showed the first one first, because I needed to explain to it, and it's better with a good camera angle. If you feel ballsy enough to get to the right corner, you can try, but you have to know that the camera is a bit worse, because when you're going to the corner like this, you will need to turn a bit to make the camera good, and because it's harder to line up a right corner if your camera is on the left, because you see less of your position. So this is just a matter of camera, but if you're feeling confident enough to do it like this, and you'll have time, you can do it. It's a bit faster. It's not really terribly bad, but at this point of a run, you're a bit shaky, so you want to be a bit safe sometimes. So that's what I'm mentioning. and you prepare a flare. Any case you prepare a flare for the next setup incoming. You don't especially need the flare for the setup, but it makes it faster, so it's good. So let's go. Let's light a flare. Oh yeah, I don't have flare. Okay. Because I don't have flare, I won't be able to do a flare console, but I'm gonna show you where you're supposed to. So there is an easy setup. So you need to go here, roll here, climb the edge here, and you want to drop when at this point here. So you don't want to be too much left here because you will slide on the slope like this. You want to be close to the slope, but you don't want to fall on it. So you want something like that, like this, and fall here, and you will get this position. And this is where you want a flare cancel. So if you have a flare, you just flare cancel it and keep doing the setup. So the setup is pretty simple, but there's a couple of things to know. So you drop down. If you have a flare, you flare cancel, and you press sidestep 2 times or more. Doesn't really matter. If you want to be sure, you can sidestep more time. And after that, you roll, and you're gonna do a standing jump. But you're gonna do a standing jump, and when you're starting the standing jump, you're gonna press forward, left, and grab like this to get to that spot. So this is the tricky part of the setup. You just do a standing jump, you roll, you do a standing jump, holding, grab, left, and forward. And you want to stop pressing forward, you want to stop pressing left and forward before she lands. Why? Because if you do it, it will mess up your position, as you can see. The angle will totally be different. So you need to stop pressing left and forward right before she lands, like this. And then you do a running jump, and you're good. And you are in a QWOP state, as you can see. Up, you are in a QWOP state. So again, you just sidestep left 2 times or more after dropping. You roll, do standing jump, pressing right and forward, and you do a running jump, simple running jump, and you'll make it. Do I still have a save? I think I do. I think it's this one. Yeah, okay, doesn't matter. So if you drop here, for example, it doesn't really matter. You sidestep once here, and you do the same thing. You sidestep 2 times or more. You roll, and you do the same setup, and it will work, as you can see. So this is just your setup to activate the QWOP. Once it's done, the serious things are coming. Like this was the really easy part of the level. So you are in the QWOP state, and you're gonna need to draw your grenade launcher, because you're gonna need the grenade launcher. Why you will need the grenade launcher? Because you're gonna use the grenade launcher draw animation to time our QWOP. So how does this work? You need a specific QWOP speed to get that floating island QWOP, to get the skip, I mean. So you need what we call a 42 QWOP speed. And this is really precise. This is frame perfect precise to get that QWOP speed. And also you need to get a good position, and you need to get a perfect timing. So this is why it's tricky. When you will fail it a lot when you will practice, but once you will get the things that make you trouble, you will get it almost every time. So how does that work? So there are 2 cases you need to know, and you're gonna need buffers. So you prepare your grenade launcher, and you're gonna jump from this spot. Oops, I need to reload. I'm gonna try to you're gonna need to start your first buffer here. So you want to be a bit on the right of a bridge, and you want to start your buffer at this line. So as you can see, there is a line here. So there is a line right in front of Lara's feet. I hope you can see my mouse. And this is where you want to start your first buffer. So this is not too much precise, but this is a good visual spot. So this is where you want to start your first buffer. So here I can't keep going, so I have to reload, but this is your starting point. So you prepare a grenade launcher, and you do your first buffer here. So you open the inventory, and what you're gonna do is when you will close your inventory, you're going to press jump and draw your guns. So you're gonna draw your grenade launcher while jumping. So this is the first thing you need to do. Of course, pressing forward because you want to keep running, obviously. And then it doesn't really matter if you instantly buffer again or not. This is even better if you don't buffer immediately after it. You're gonna see why. And then what you're going to do is you're going to buffer until you hear a step sound. So that's what you're going to do. Keep pressing forward. So here it is. So if you didn't hear, because the in-game sound might be a bit low, I don't know. But this is the buffer where I hear the step sound. So from this point, there's two cases. Let's see what cases we have. So then you're going to buffer, keep going buffering forward here. And you're going to look if the health bar appear between the buffers. So let's see. So buffer once, and we already have the health bar on the side, on the top left. So that means you are in the first case. And if that happens, if the health bar appear after the first buffer, after the step sound, what you need to do is you need to buffer 3 times forward. 3 times more, I mean. So 1, 2, 3. And then you're good. You have a QWOP speed you want. So then you just, after the buffers, you don't press forward anymore. You just press left because we're gonna press left to set up the QWOP timing. But this is something I'm gonna say later. But then you just press left, you can undraw the weapon, and you got the QWOP speed you want. So this is the first case. So if the health bar appear after the first buffer, after the step sound, buffer 3 times forward, and then stop buffering and hold F to time your QWOP. We will talk about that later. So this is the first thing. Let's see about the second, if we get the second case. So yeah, okay, so here I was a bit quick. It was the second case, but because we couldn't hear the step sound, I prefer to explain to you if we can buffer before. So buffer. So here the step sound. Let's count. So it didn't appear first buffer. It means it's the second case. So you should see the health bar in the next buffer. Here we go. So once the health bar appear on the second buffer, you need to do 2 more buffer forwards. So let's go. 1, 2. You go saving in the menu. So we're going to use another slot, but it doesn't matter. You save and you reload instantly. Well, it doesn't matter if you wait or not. You save and then you reload. And when you reload, you keep holding the inventory button because you want to buffer the first frame of a reload, like this. And then you're good. Then you have a QWOP speed you want, so you stop buffering and pressing forward, you press left again, and you have a QWOP speed you want. So those are the two cases. First case, health bar appear after first buffer, after step sound. Buffer 3 times and you're good. 3 times forward. Second case is health bar appear after the second buffer. The second buffer after step sound, sorry. Then you buffer 2 times more forward. You save, you reload, and you buffer the first reload buffer. The first reload frame. And when you're good, you do the same thing. You stop pressing forward and you press left. So this is how it is. I'm gonna write everything in the description. I'm gonna link you iCourse setup, which has a video which explains it with he wrote explanation basically. And he's the one that found that setup. He's the one that found the QWOP setup. So he's basically the one that's 99% help participating to do that QWOP. Do I need to say something? Oh yeah, I need to say something else. It is really important. So, if you're not confident that you're planning to save before the QWOP, don't save here. If you save here, you will be fucked, basically. I don't have any other word to say. So let's pretend you're in a run and you save here. So let's say you fail. Let's say you fail the QWOP. You save because you're not confident anyway. So let's say you fail the QWOP or whatever, you do some mistake or something, and you reload to try it again. What's gonna happen is because when you reload, the health bar, as you can see, appear already after when you reload. So basically, if you are planning to draw a weapon again, like this, you won't be able to notice the case because the health bar will already be here. And because the health bar is already here, you can't say if it's the first case or the second case. So if you're planning on saving because you are not confident or something, you don't save in front of a bridge. You save basically from this spot. Right after you triggered so you do your QWOP thing here, you save here. You save running here. Because this is exactly the good time to so the health bar vanish. So this is something important that can stupidly end your run if you don't know it. So those were two cases. I'm going to do it a couple of times to show you again and be sure you get it. So let's go. Jump from, oops. So here I buffer too early, so I buffer one more to be a bit further. So jump and draw guns. Wait for the steps on, buffer. You can see the health bar, so it's 1, 2, 3, and you're good. Also, just small mention that you don't really need to use the buffer, or you don't need to use the health bar appearing. When you will get used to it, you will realize that the two step zones are slightly different depending on the case. So if you don't like to see there is health bar or not, you can just hear the right step zone and know which case it is. But this is really if you got good hearing. So let's go again. Steps on, 1, 2, health bar up here, buffer 1, 2 times more, save here, reload, buffer once, 4, and you have a good speed. So those are the two cases again, so I think it's enough. I wanted to say one more thing again. Oh yeah, I think I didn't mention it again before, but so I told you that you want to start your QWOP, your jump here, your buffer, or well, not here, but at the line right in front of Lara here. So you do that, but you also want to do it. You don't want to do it on the left of a bridge, because if you do it on the left of a bridge, when you're gonna trigger QWOP, you will get that small bump at activating the QWOP, and you can cancel the QWOP, and also it will mess up the timing I'm gonna show you. You need to be relatively on the right of a bridge, right here, and you want to be a bit forward like this. You don't want to aim right or left. You want to be relatively straight and jump like this. So this is important for the QWOP timing. So this was the first part of a glitch. So I know this is a lot to take. One last thing also I need to see, if you want to optimize the buffers, So what you can do is you can, for example, you can press jump and gun, and then keep buffering until you have a step sound. But as you can see, this is a lot of buffers, like 10 or something, like this. So this is relatively long. To optimize that, what you want to do is you want to do the first buffer. So you just press forward, jump, and draw guns here. And you want to delay slightly your second inventory. It's like this. And then, as you can see, I only need 3 buffers to wait for a step sound. And with some practice, you will almost get every time either the buffer right before the step sound or the buffer itself. So this is a bit of anticipation stuff. So just a bit of practice and you will see you will be able to optimize your buffers. So here, up, like here. Next one should be the step sound. Yeah. So as you can see, if you're used to it, this is pretty easy. So second one. So then this is the case number 2, you need to save. So 1, 2, you save here. You reload, buffer once forward, and this is so I'm going to save again here to avoid buffering again when I will reload every time, but you're not supposed to save in a run again here. Well, you can, but you do whatever you want. So then after you do all this, I know it is complicated, but you will see the trick pretty simple. You need to hold left. You need to hold left basically after with the right position I showed you on the bridge, and you will be good. You will need to do 3 run around. So like this. So 1, 2, and 3, and then you hold action and forward, and you will get that. So if you get the wrong timing, that will happen. Just showing you. So 1, 2, and 3. So here I think I jumped early on the bridge, that's why it won't work. Yeah, that's why it's not working, but I'm gonna show you again quickly. So that's why it's important to time the jump right. The first jump, so here it's too early, I know. So here it will be good. So it's first case, so 1, 2, 3. Oops. Up. 1, 2, 3 run around. I'm gonna save again just to show you some cases. Oops, maybe okay, good. So if you time the start right, so if you time the start right with a thing I showed you, oops, that will happen. You will just have to run around 3 times like I did, and then go, and then go straight to the door. Oops, and press forward and action. And she will go out slightly. It's a weird QWOP. It's a quicksand, but for some reason, because we are on a slopey bridge, she will get out of a QWOP animation and keep running, and basically what you have to do is you have to activate the actual quicksand at the right pixel in front of a door. So this is not really a door, but this is a door texture. And this is the tricky part because you need to time it. So you have to practice a bit because this is precise, but with practice you will see it's really easy. So basically you will practice and you will realize that sometimes you will miss it, sometimes you slide down like before. It means you jump too early at the very start. And sometimes, so here it won't work because yeah, it won't work, but I'm going to show you what can happen. I'm going to have to redo. So I detail a lot, but this is important to detail because this glitch can be pain. So yeah. I'm gonna fail it on purpose to show you the other case. So this one, for example, is in there. So 1, 2, 3. So for example, here it's gonna miss. She's gonna hit the wall. Oh no, okay, it still works. So it's it's bad for me because I wanted to show you. God damn it! I need to redo it. Let me take a lot of like this. So 1, 2, save, blah blah blah. Buffer once, good. And here should be the failing situation because I jumped really late. So that will be the other fail case you can get. So because she's not quicksanding soon enough, Lara bumped against the wall and it cancelled the QWOP. So that's it cancelled the quicksand. So that's basically what it is. Oops. Oh yeah, because I need to buffer because this is second case. So yeah. So if that happens, it means you you stop the QWOP too late. You will, when you will practice, you will realize that you will be able to see before it happens if you fail or not. So there is 3 cases. The first case is where you're too far away from, you finish the QWOP too far away from the door, and you can't recover. There is no way. That's why it's better to jump a bit later than earlier when you enter the bridge, because you won't be able to recover if you jump too early. The second one will be, obviously, you see that the position is right and you're good. So there is nothing to do. You just go forward to you just go straight forward to the door. Or there is a third case where you know that what I just showed you will happen. And if that's the case, you can recover it. Just showing to you quickly. So I need to buffer actually because this is not the right speed. Okay, oops. So 1, 2, and 3. So save here. So here, for example, I'm seeing that she's too close. So don't ask me how. I have not really visual clue. I just know by the look of where the QWOP ends that what's going to happen. I just know it. It just comes with practice. You realize quickly what I mean. It's not something that you can describe. It's something you know or you don't know with practice. But here I know that if I go straight forward, it won't work like this. So what I do simply is I just curve a bit here and it recovers it. So if you curve slightly, if you're having this case, you can recover it. So this is why it's better to jump later than earlier. Oops. You don't have to curve. You don't have to curve like this quickly. What you can do is you can also curve when she's running. Like you don't curve before the QWOP ends. You can curve like this here, for example, and you will still make it. You don't have to be straight. But it's better to be straight because obviously you'll be closer to the door. But if you see it's gonna be this case and it will end up wrong, you curve and you still have chance to make it and recover it. So this is basically how it works. Just curve here. Oops, well, didn't curve enough, I guess. But yeah, you curve a bit like this, and you can recover it like this, and you make it. So this was the QWOP. So there is a lot to take it, so do it step by step, but trust me, it's easier than the old skip. At least it is in my opinion. This is also depending of your buffer, on your luck, on the cases. It can be a bit faster than the old methods. And also, obviously, for UK box, you remove all the RNG part of this level. So, if you're playing UK box, do the QWOP. Don't do the RNG part. In my tutorial, I'm not gonna even explain the RNG part because this is completely not worth it. You better learn the QWOP. And for EPC, you can choose whatever you want. This one is faster if you are not advanced player. Like if you don't YOLO, not buffering the old skip, it will be the same speed. And if you don't use buffers for the old skip, it will be about the same speed. And if you use buffers and you have to save a couple of times in floating island doing the skip because you're not sure to be 100% consistent at it, then the QWOP is faster. So whatever happens, I recommend doing the QWOP, but if it's too hard for you or you don't like it, do the old skip I already did in my video. So I'm gonna re-show you 1 or 2 times and I'm gonna finish with it. Just explaining what's happening. So here I jump. So here it's good position, so up. So waiting for steps on. Maybe I got it here. Yeah, I got the stone. If the steps on was really low here, so I wasn't sure. But because the health bar up here at the top of the second buffer, I know it's the second case. So 1, 2, save, reload, buffer the first frame, and press left. 1 turn, 2, 3, go forward. So here I had to recover because I saw I was too close to the door when I exit the QWOP. So I knew I had to curve or I was gonna get the bump, and I made it. Okay, let's do one more time to be sure. I think it's the same again. Maybe a bit more forward. Right. Step sound 1, 2. So I need to buffer 1, 2. Save again. Reload. Buffer once. Turn. 1, 2, 3. Go forward. So here I needed to curve because I was too close again. And I make it. So this is it one last time. Hoping I get the other situation so I can remember you the buffers. Step sound 1, 2. This is the second case again, but it doesn't really matter then. Save and reload. Buffer once and curve 1, 2, 3, and you go forward. So here, yeah, I need to curve again. So because I'm used to jump a bit later than I showed you, I generally need to recover because I prefer jumping later because I know I can recover. If I jump too early, I can't recover. So that's why I tend to jump later. But you do as you want, obviously. So yeah, so I got only the safe cases this time, but just for reminder, if you get the first buffer after steps on health bar appearing, you do 3 buffers forward and you do the exact same thing. And then you just finish the level. Basically, you just go here, jump on this slope here on the right to avoid having to do a flare cancel. And you go here. So you can over jump if you want, but if you don't want, you just go here, step back, side step to be against the edge, and you do a running jump, and you're good. You turn and you finish the level. And this is Floating Island. So thanks a lot for watching. If you're having any question, sure you might have some, can ask in the description, and this will be added to my Tomb Raider 2 big tutorial for EPC, and I'm gonna make one for UK box later that is gonna appear. So that's it, thanks for watching and see you next time.